everyone, and welcome back. I'm Christina, aka ThatVarietyNerd, and today we are in the brand new Sims 4 expansion pack, Eco Lifestyle, and this one's going to be an interesting renovation video, as we have all missed. I've missed doing these renovation videos, and I think we're going to bring it back a little bit more full-time here on the channel. So basically, as long as it's not a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, kind of expect some Sims content for the foreseeable future. While we investigate this pack and see what it has to offer. So basically, we're kicking things off here with not one but two renovations. That is right. We are focusing in on the Pinecrest apartments, which you know what's really dumb? Like you can't use the patio space. Which kind of is contradictory to what this pack is about, like eco living and stuff like that. But before we dive into the video even further, please hit the like button, comment, and also subscribe to the channel. Now that it's summertime and we got some more, like a little bit more time going on here, we're gonna just keep on plugging away and just have some different content coming up. I will also be getting back to streaming. My hope is to maybe get some streaming in tonight. That's kind of the goal. But I'm excited just to see where things are going to go next. So without further ado, we're just going to dive right into this renovation. So renovations, plural, I should say. So the Pinecrest apartments are one of two apartments in the new world of Evergreen Harbor in the Sims 4 Eco Lifestyle pack. First of all, I played with this pack a ton yesterday. I could not put this pack down. It did freeze and close on me, but I've heard other people are having issues ever since the update came out, which, by the way, the new update's actually pretty good. It organizes the inventory system. We have new NPCs. Well, sort of new if we're counting the Repo Man, or the Repo Person is what they label it as, which makes sense to me. So the Repo Person came in Discovery University, but now it is available for everybody, which I think is great. So there you have it. And there's also two new careers. I haven't played around with the careers, except for the freelancer one. The freelance career is the maker path for the freelance career, which is pretty great. So you get to do one of three, well, actually, no, you get to do three different things with that particular freelance path, and that is candle making and also fabricating like furniture and stuff like that. Those two are actually one skill, which is the fabricating skill, I think it's called, and then the juice fizzing skill, which is where you get to make like kombucha and stuff like that, or kombucha. I don't even know it this way, but you can also make seltzers and stuff like that too. So that's a whole separate skill, which is kind of confusing, especially with the first two, because fabricating and candle making are not the same thing. I wish they would have parsed it out and made candle making its own separate skill. Just in general, I think that would make a little bit more sense because making furniture and candle making are two very different skill sets. Like, I feel like I probably could have a little bit more luck. Like, if you think about it this way, like if you're making candles, that's going to require different skills and materials, like wax, right? So you need wax to build candles, but you need like all kinds of stuff. Like if you haven't made your own furniture, like I've never made my own furniture, think about putting together furniture. So for example, when I moved here to Kentucky, I had this television stand or entertainment stand where it had like a bunch of different pieces. You have your shelves, you have your, the stands that put together the television stand. That's a very different skill than making a candle. So I don't know how you get building furniture and making furniture and candle making in the same skill set. I don't know how that works. I wish they would have parsed that out a little bit more, but I really love how these two builds turned out. I've really enjoyed just everything in general. Also, there's a new, I don't know if it's new or I'm just discovering it, but I've been holding down like the Alt key while doing these renovations. Also, I'm going to try my best to get these up onto the gallery. I know that you have to delete the doors and stuff like that, but I don't know how that's going to work when you can't delete the doors. I don't know if that's just me or something like that, but like you can't delete the two doors, like the sliding door and then the regular front door. So I don't know how that's all going to work, but we're going to figure it out. We will figure it out. But the reason I put these two apartments together was because they're next door to each other. They have a similar feel to it, and I wanted to use as many of the new objects as much as possible. But yeah, I've been able to hold down the Alt key and kind of move things around a little bit better. And this is on a laptop, by the way, so it's like you don't need anything super high end to use the alt stuff. To use the alt key, I should say. So that was kind of my logic behind that. At first, I was going to use two couches, and then I realized, Christina, you only have so much space to use. But yeah, the furniture and everything, like both apartments look pretty similar, but also very different at the same time, and I think you'll see that. I'm kind of playing around with the different swatches here just to kind of get a feel for what table I'm going to use, and I end up going with that one. And we're just kind of like we're kind of just seeing how things are gonna go. There's different like decor, lamps, furniture, all that kind of good stuff. So if you go into the debug menu, there's a ton of other stuff there. Because you have all the different like fabricated options, so you have to get like dyes and stuff like that. So like dyes as in like if you've ever like contemplated dyeing your hair, like that sort of dyeing. So yeah, there's different dyes to get the different colors that you want, and so you have to know which one you want though, and it gives you a very small preview. Which I kind of wish that the previews on the different colored furnitures, like I wish it was a little bit bigger in terms of the objects. That would have been really helpful to get a better idea as to what the furniture is going to look like before I waste all my resources. But I've enjoyed the crap out of this pack, and it actually extends into other worlds as well. So last night, for example, I played off screen. I've already played in the first neighborhood, the one that we're in for this particular video, and I actually played in this apartment. So I had a lot of fun there, and then I also went to the industrial area within Evergreen Harbor. I think that one's called Port Promise. I don't remember which neighborhood this one is, but I'm gonna play around with it a little bit more to see how eco lifestyle works in other areas in The Sims, like the traditional worlds of like, oh, okay, here's Willow Creek, here's Oasis Springs, like those sorts of areas. So I'm gonna play around with that a little bit more, but so I didn't get aftershots like from the top down, but you'll at least see what the before and afters are going to look like. At least the befores, because I wanted to kind of make this feel a bit cozy. I kind of thought like when I was working on these renovations, like maybe one of these rooms could be like more of an office space. So you could kind of have it as multi-purpose. Yeah, you could use these like multi-purpose where you can have, if you have like a kid in the game, you can have like a small family in here. You can convert it into a kid's room, or if you're an adult or like a couple or, whatever, you can use this as like an office space. But I want to make it look a little bit lived in. But there's two very different families that I had in mind here. So this one I kind of just figured like, oh, okay, like maybe they're in the civil design career, or what I was more thinking of, like when I was kind of going through the furnishings of the bedrooms, especially, like maybe a grandma with like, or like a grandparent, or like a set of grandparents, and like maybe they have an adult grandchild or something, and like, or a teenage grandchild, and they just are, taking care of the grandchild, like that sort of thing. So that's why it looks a little bit older, but also a little bit modern at the same time, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So that's why it looks the way that it looks. And so that was kind of what I was thinking there. And so there you go. That was kind of my thought processes. This and all the other renovations are just going to use Eco Lifestyle and also the base game. It's going to be quite interesting to figure out how to upload this one because there's like two doors. So that's kind of something. Also, I wish the balcony space, I've said this earlier, but I wish the balcony space was like actually usable. As you can see, I put in a hamper right there. So if you have the laundry day stuff, you could probably put a hamper there, maybe put in laundry somewhere in this apartment. But I really like how this turned out, and I think the screenshots are coming up in just a second. So you'll get a feel for what what the before looked like. So as you can see, very drab, very dark. And then we brighten things up quite a bit. And you might be wondering why, oh, why are you showing screenshots right now? Well, that's because, my friends, we are going into our second renovation in just a second. So I'm excited. I love how this turned out. I wanted to use as much of the greenery as I could, given the space limitations and that sort of thing. So that was kind of what I was thinking there. So as you can see, we also have another before space in general. where the apartments were just very dark. And so when you're in an apartment, you want things to be, you have to try to find a balance of it being like light and bright along with like comfy and cozy. And you can kind of have that balance too. At first, I wanted to have one bedroom into an angle, and like I had a hard time trying to readjust the layout, I'm not gonna lie. But I think the way that I did it makes a little bit of sense. But I wanted to keep it brighter and open and all that sort of good stuff. The kitchen's a little bit smaller, I think. Yeah, the kitchen's smaller than the other room, or the other apartment, I should say. But I think it makes sense why it's smaller because I think this apartment is technically a little bit smaller, but I could be super duper wrong. I could be super duper wrong. Like the way that it's structured, it's on a really weird angle where it's like you have one bedroom like way in the back, and then it's a bit of a mess, to say the least. But I think we made it work. We also used some different colors in this one in general, I believe. What I usually do is that I try to get the layout kind of situated before I do anything else. And so I was kind of realizing, like, oh crap, well, you can't really do that much in that room. Like, you might as well just create a little office space. And so that's why it's on a little bit of a weird L shape type of. It's on an angle, I would say, right? Right. And so what I did was that I went to the stylized rooms just to get a feel for, some of the different rooms. And so I used one of them as a bit of inspiration. When I'm going in here and just kind of going through things, I'm kind of playing around with the floors. I love the new wood floors, by the way. That's kind of what stood out to me the most in this pack. Just the different wood tones I liked. And so I want to go for something a little bit different in this apartment. I was kind of thinking like maybe it's like, again, maybe a small family, or you could even have just like, one person living here and using one room as an office space. So I end up using this like really cool like wood tone. I use the wood tones a little bit more. I use like this blue wood tone in this room, which I really thought made it stand out more. I used some of the wall decorations that came in this pack just because I thought it was really cool and just something a little bit different. And so that was kind of what I was going for here. I wanted to make the apartment similar but different at the same time. I wasn't sure if to make it just like an exclusively kids room or whatever. So I kind of treat it as like maybe like a guest room, or like if you have an office space, like, or if you're just renting it out to a student, because literally this is all we need is like a desk, and or usually not even a desk. Usually, like I barely use my desk here. But we'll see how that goes. Sometimes I use my desk, sometimes I don't. Like when I'm recording this voiceover, I'm literally just using my headset on my laptop on my couch. But I wanted to create a space that was comfy and cozy. You can obviously replace some of the stuff here, but I kind of envisioned like a kid here, so that's why there's a little activities table, that sort of thing. I feel like you could probably use it if you use the teleport option, like that sort of thing, but I kind of envisioned like, maybe a kid lives here with like a candle making parent, that sort of thing. Again, we don't want to assume like, oh yeah, single parent, single dad, single mom. Like anybody can create candles. Like it's 2020. Like if you want to become a candle maker, by all means go for it. So there is a candle making station in like the bedroom over here, and you'll see that in just a second. But yeah, I wanted to make like a little bit of a kid space. I'm thinking like just yeah, like I don't want to say boy space because like for me anyway, like you can use blue, like all genders like blue as like their favorite color and stuff, but I wanted it to be more of a cozy kid space. There we go. That's what I'm looking for here. Cozy kid space. So that's kind of what I went for in this room as well. Just something that's quaint and cozy. I ended up going with this purple swatch, I think. Yeah, I ended up going with like a purple swatch just for something that's a little bit different. And something that's like just genuinely cozy. I also get a candle making station in here as well. I was originally going to go for a desk, but then I was thinking like, no, I don't think we're going to go there. So I use these candles, my goal was to make it comfy and cozy. So I used the digital sketch pad, they can always go into the digital freelance track. But as you can see, that is the candle making station. And then I included some artwork. You can tell that this person's a very artsy person. So you could have like an artist with like a kid. That was kind of what I was thinking in this particular space. I used a laundry basket right there, just as a little bit of a decor type of thing. But I eventually go with this painting just because it's small, it doesn't take up a lot of space, but it adds something to the space, which I think is important. I was kind of playing around to see what would work best, honestly, and so we kind of went with a painting that just something small, nothing super fancy, right? And so that was kind of my logic there. Just add a plant, because plants are love, plants are life. Add a rug, make it all nice and super cozy and quaint. And I just love how the two bedrooms turned out. So I kind of I went in reverse order where I went with like the two bedrooms first and then focus on the living spaces after. We get a couple of lights out here. That sort of thing. Just making it nice and bright, I think was kind of the goal for the apartments because you only have so much space in an apartment, but you also want it to be like your own quaint little space. I was like trying to figure out like where I should put plants at because like I want to utilize the plants as much as possible. Like that was my kind of goal. I'm like trying to figure out where to put the trash can at, but I eventually find a space that makes a little bit of sense to me anyway. So you'll see that in just a moment or two here. But we use some different wood tones out here in this living room area just to kind of, again, make things bright, make things light. And so I end up using like, I make this very just weird entryway where it's like blocked off, which in hindsight, probably not the greatest idea given the not as much space. But again, white counters, white countertops, just keeping it bright and light. Because again, like you want to have not a huge like you want to have a greener footprint, like pun intended, as I say, as I'm putting in plants everywhere. But no, like I really love just this. Can I just say how much I love this pack? Like now that I look at it in hindsight, I probably could have used that plant over there instead of like just this huge wall. But you know what? We live and learn. Am I right? Right. So I had a shower, a toilet, a sink. So yeah, I kind of envisioned just this small, quaint little artsy family where they just want to have this quaint and cozy apartment. That was kind of what I was envisioning here. But yeah, like I really love how the apartments turned out. Like I could see myself, especially I feel like I would probably play more in this apartment honestly. But we have this quaint little living room area where it's just comfy and cozy, where you can just kind of read a bunch of books. There's like a coffee table right there. And then I have this cute little dining area just right behind it, like nothing super elaborate. We got some flowers in there, just something that's very quaint. And I think that was kind of the objective there. And I want to make the space like usable, so I added some bookshelves into the mix as well. I was going to use that one, but then I realized that kind of matched the wood tones like just slightly better. It's hard to match the wood tones in The Sims in general because so many of them kind of just vary from, just place to place or from wood tone to wood tone, from pack to pack. So that was definitely a hard time. So yeah, I might be streaming tonight. We'll see. I'm trying to debate on what I should play tonight, but we'll figure it out. It's all good. And I also will be recording more videos as well throughout the day, so my voice might be just cracked or just, whatever. So there you go. But we're almost to the end of the video, and just in general, if you are trying to figure out, like, should I get this pack or not, I recommend it, just because you get you get three new careers, I think, two in the civil designer pack or track, and there's two different tracks, and then you get you get like the new freelance career, but you get like three different sorts of paths within there. So you could go and make candles, you can go ahead and do fabricating, you like making furniture and stuff, and you can also go the fizzy drinks sort of thing. And you can also drink the drinks too, so it's not like you're just making craft sodas or anything like that. You can also enjoy them and have them around as decor as well. So that was kind of what I was thinking about as I was kind of going through this pack. And as you can see, it goes really well with the base game. So if you're just new to The Sims and you want something that's like, oh, cool, new neighborhood, it really fleshes out the gameplay a little bit more. I recommend picking up this pack just in general. I really enjoy it. And like you can see the differences within, and the neighborhood action plans are a trip, by the way. That's a whole different thing. But I'm excited to talk more about the game. This is the before and after shots, that sort of thing. So there you go. That's kind of what we end up with. So we'll be going through much more of this pack as the weeks come by. But for now, thank you all so much for tuning in. Please leave a like, leave a comment, do all that fun stuff here on YouTube. And also go follow me on social media and also like just on Twitch in general. All the links are in the description down below. And I will see you all later. Bye everyone.